Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, does Tom Brady feel underappreciated in New England? Plus, Shannon explains why it makes sense for Cowboys tight end Jason Wynn to hang him up. And can LeBron and the Cavs continue their dominance against the Raptors? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Tom Brady spoke at a conference here in LA yesterday, and he confirmed he still wants to play until his mid-40s. He was also asked about his state of mind after all the reported tension with Bill Belichick. Let's take a listen.
Do you feel appreciated by them, and do they have the appropriate gratitude for what you have achieved?
I plead the fifth. Look, man, that is a tough question. Yeah, I mean,
your wife seems to indicate.
Yeah. I think everybody in general wants to be appreciated more at work.
Are you happy?
I have my moments.
We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What was your takeaway from Brady's comments?
It is what it is. He pleads the fifth. He pleads the fifth because they don't talk in New England. This is the extent of their dialogue.
He
disclosure.
And we listen.
He's talking, but they're not. It's just like Belichick. Belichick will say nothing, but he's saying everything and saying nothing. Mm-hmm. This is, I don't care in what relationship, family, marriage, like you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have conflicts, you're going to agree to disagree, and you're going to not feel appreciated at times or like you're the priority at times, but you deal with it. You learn to coexist. You learn to move past it. And that's what they've been able to do. That's what they will continue to do. Belichick, when everyone gets together this offseason and training camp starts and he has his guys and he's dwindling down, I guarantee you he's going to address everything that we're talking about right now. If you guys aren't on board, you let me know. And the door's that way. Bottom line, and Tom Brady will sit there and he will not say anything and it will be done because winning football games will take precedent. Yes, is he irritated? Is he bothered? Is he 100% happy? Absolutely not. But you tell me one person that's 100% happy. You show me one person that's 100% happy. No one.
I'm looking at it a little different than you are, Greg. Yeah. Put it like this. Okay, you say the marriage. Let's put this in a marriage. Say a couple have been married 15 years, they got a couple kids. And one comes to the other and says, you know what? I'm ready to move on without you. How you think that person's going to feel? Because that's what this is about. This is about Tom Brady, what he all accomplished, what they did together. Coach Belichick was willing to move on without him. See, that's what the underappreciation, because if you'd ask him that very question before this year and before Seth Wickersham's article came out that Mr. Kraft ordered Coach Belichick to trade Jimmy Garoppolo to clear the decks for Tom Brady. Had you asked him before that all came about, I guarantee you Tom Brady would have said okay. Because guess what they did? Before he got suspended, they gave him a $20 million signing bonus, gave him a $1 million base salary, so the NFL could only get 4 checks of that $1 million as opposed to the big money. So he would have said, oh, yeah, they appreciate me. Now he's saying, well, they ask him a question, does Coach Belichick owe the fans an explanation? Well, you would have to ask the guy. You don't know that guy's name?
The guy who owns the team.
Mm-hmm. You have to ask the guy that owns the team. They didn't ask him, was Coach Belichick tough to play for? He volunteered that. Ain't nobody asked you, Greg, what's it like in your marriage. You volunteered you having problems. You know what I'm saying? So if you volunteer information, so you going to go home, your wife going to be looking at, oh, Greg, huh?
Yeah, I hear you. Don't misunderstand me. I get it because I was in a relationship with Green Bay and I felt like they didn't appreciate me. Right. We've all experienced this.
And you said it. You voiced it.
Absolutely. I did. And I think when it comes to Tom Brady, I think he feels appreciated, but now, like to your points, he now has things that have transpired to where he's like, do they really appreciate me? But he never thought about it.
He felt appreciated, but he doesn't feel appreciated now.
Yes, but Skip, like this happens every single day in the NFL. How long has Tom Brady been there? He's been there for the entire run. So he's seen player come and go, great players come and go. It never impacted him.
Never thought it would happen to him.
That's the problem. That's the issue. Everybody never thinks it'll happen to them. Brett Favre never thought it would happen to him. You ask him, did the Green Bay Packers appreciate him? He would say yes at one point, but then what transpired, it's like, well, maybe they don't.
Greg Jennings, as good as you were, with all due respect to your career, and you did make Aaron Rodgers, you won him a Super Bowl, but you played at a very high level, but you were not this guy.
No.
This is the greatest quarterback in the history of this league. This is 5 Super Bowl rings and 8 Super Bowl appearances, and the reigning MVP who set the all-time playoff game record in the last Super Bowl with 505 yards passing. And just for the record, I just heard via text from a very close friend of Tom Brady's who said he was shocked at what Tom said by Tom's standards yesterday. Again, he went from, aw shucks, gee whiz, to drop that mic. He was holding that mic and he might as well have dropped it by his standards because he does not speak like this. This is Tom Brady going LeVar Ball on Bill Belichick. That's how strong it was in the context of who was speaking because he had clearly thought it through. And the first line is, do you feel appreciated by the organization? Do you get the appropriate gratitude from the organization? That's the head coach and the owner. And he had thought it through enough to say, I plead the fifth. And that was his cadence. He had thought, he hit every word. I plead the fifth, meaning I cannot speak the truth without incriminating myself. That's Tom Brady speaking. And then, are you happy? It's a pretty simple question. Plays for a team that is as we speak, it's still the Las Vegas betting favorite to win it all next year. I have my moments. You have your moments. It has come to that you have all this going for you. And now you have announced again, I want to play into my mid-40s. Are you happy? I have my moments. And then the Malcolm Butler that you alluded to. This is shocking by Brady standards, that he says that Malcolm Butler kept coming over to him during the Super Bowl saying, TB, like, what's going on here? You're the quarterback of a team favored to win the Super Bowl, and while your defense is supposed to be on the field, one of the best defenders that you have keeps coming over to you saying, TB, what's up? And you're trying to sit with Josh McDaniels and go over the pictures and your strategy for the next series. And you're saying, well, what is going on? And finally, Brady said, I kept going, as in saying out loud, what defense are we in where Malcolm is not on the field? Is it short yardage or goal line? Because it's almost like a sarcastic line. Why isn't he on the field? Wouldn't that be a little distracting?
Yes.
If you're the leader of the team, even though you don't play defense and that shouldn't be your domain or your bother during the game. And yet, it was as if Malcolm Butler wanted Tom to walk over to Bill Belichick and just say, Coach, why isn't he in the game? They're scoring at will on our defense. They're about to put up 41 points.
That is their backup, too, Coach.
With the backup quarterback. And we've gone to our dime package, which is, 6 defensive backs. And you don't have Malcolm Butler on there? Really?
But Jim Gray didn't ask him that. Tom Brady volunteered.
He did. He
that
volunteered.
Malcolm Butler was coming to him on the sideline. Because it's all, Skip, when I was a little kid, my aunts, they were afraid to ask my grandfather something. They would push me up to do it because he was less likely to tell me no.
That is true.
So hey, Shannon, go ask Daddy, can we go such and such? Okay, we could do this. Malcolm Butler, because he knew he couldn't approach Coach Belichick, he was trying to get Tom Brady to go ask him, can he get in the game? Why isn't he playing? So that's why he kept coming back. And Tom, like, I got bigger fish. I want you in the game, but I'm not going to go ask him that. And plus, I got bigger things. I got things I got to worry about. I got to make sure my offense is intact. Skip, he could have easily. And for him, like Skip said, for him, this is a rant. Because he doesn't want to come out this divish. He's spent 19 years building this reputation. Well, all golly gee whiz, I'm Tom. But for him to say what he said in a joking manner, like, yeah, man, I can't stand Coach Belichick. That joker tried to get rid of me after everything I've done.
That's exactly the Tony.
I agree with both of you. I believe this is far beyond what we would have ever expected Tom Brady to be doing and saying. But if it really was a do or die situation, if it was really choose me, you think Tom Brady's going to say, well, let me go, and I'll continue playing somewhere else? Is it that serious? No. So what I'm saying is, come the season, regardless of what has transpired, he's going to swallow that pride.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to play ball.
Okay,
that's what they've always done.
But if the head coach had his way, the head coach was going to tell him, thank you, see you later.
Absolutely. Right? I understand that, because that's what Bill Belichick, he's the one constant in all of this. Like, Bill Belichick is always going to be the one constant. This is the way I do things. There's no give. There's no give. I don't owe any. I guarantee we will never hear an explanation about the Malcolm Butler. No. We will never hear. You talk about Brady will, after he's done and playing, maybe in a book, maybe after sitting down away from the game, he may share what his real sentiments are, but Belichick, even far after, he will never say anything. That's just who he is.
Okay, so the final line, Jim Gray asked Tom Brady, if Patriots fans deserve an explanation for why Malcolm Butler didn't play. And Tom says, I don't know. That's probably a better answer for the guy who owns the team. This is the guy who's his father figure, the guy he calls RK, Robert Kraft. And now it's degenerated to, you'll have to ask the guy? Really? So now he feels like both the owner and the coach are against him. And not appreciate.
I don't look at it like. I mean, we take things sometimes out of context. I mean, he said the guy. I don't believe that there is a problem with Tom Brady and Robert Kraft, because Robert Kraft wants him there.
A year ago, he would have said, "You'll have to ask Mr. Kraft." The guy.
Yeah.
You know what rubs Tom Brady is that you know this. You play with Brett. You play with Aaron. And the coaches that you had, they treat all you guys fair, but they treat those guys different.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady has never gotten different treatment from any other guy from Coach Belichick. And he's like, why? We've never had a conversation that didn't involve football. Why? I can't talk to you on any other level except player, coach. And you like, I've won 5 Super Bowls. I've been the ultimate soldier, because everything that they're allowed to do in New England, it starts with Tom Brady. Because if he walks the straight and narrow, everybody else will fall in line behind him. But he's number 1 behind Coach Belichick. And then everybody just get in the line. 50 from 1 to 56, 53. And so now he's looking at like, hold on, I've been loyal to you beyond loyal for 18 years. And you tried to over what I've done. That's not good enough. Coach Belichick says, I must keep a safe distance from all my players, because either I'm going to cut you or I'm going to trade you or you will retire. And that makes it a lot easier if I'm not buddy-buddy with you. You know, some guys get released, you're like, okay, cool. But if it's a friend of yours, you're like, damn, man.
Absolutely.
So Tom was like, he saw Willie McGinnis go out the door. He saw Richard Seymour get traded. They cut Lawyer Malloy Tuesday. They playing the game on Sunday. But he never thought it would happen to him. And Coach Belichick says, yeah, you know what? I know you will decline eventually, but you won't decline on my watch. You'll decline on someone else, because I'm going to get rid of you a year too early.
So Tom Brady just redrew the line in the sand. I'm playing until I'm in my middle 40s. What is that, 3-4 more years?
At least.
Coach.
Yeah, and I think that is going to cause some problems in his personal life then, because now it's becoming a little too personal. But I just want to ask, Shannon, have you ever had something transpire, conduct detrimental to the team, something with a player or a coach, doesn't matter, somebody within the organization, and you guys not be given an explanation?
I mean,
ever, like.
Normally you know things. But
no, yes and have you ever not known why?
I don't know if I've ever seen a situation like this. Because normally, you know, if a guy's not going to start, say a guy shows up late for something.
You know why.
Right. You know, he's not going to start.
And as a leader of 2 Super Bowl teams, the coach is going to make you aware as a leader.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't know if they have one of those. I don't know if they have a council in New England where the coach.
I don't know if they have an explanation that can be shared, because maybe it's just that Belichick wanted to do it his way, and it backfired, so that can't be the explanation.
That is the biggest, I believe that is the biggest issue. He messed with my Super Bowl championship opportunity. Like, that
you don't
is
get
huge.
that back. Yep. Greg, thanks for joining us. No mercy. Jayson Wynn is reportedly choosing between returning to the Cowboys and a job in television. He was offered a job in the Monday Night Football booth, but Jason Garrett is reportedly trying to persuade Wynn to play another season. A final decision is expected by tomorrow. Shannon, what should Wynn do?
Is this a for real question, Skip?
Yep, it is.
Man, if he don't take that Monday night job, there's only one Monday night game. Opening week, there's 2. But there's only one Monday night game. Skip, there are 32 tight ends, starting tight ends. Most teams have 2, so 64. Some teams have 3, so 78 on average. Skip, do you actually think, and I get it, Jason, look at what he's accomplished. And he doesn't have a championship. But there have been a lot of great players that retired that didn't have a championship. And it shouldn't be that every great player wins a championship, because what's the fun in that? If every great player that came along won a championship, there's no fun in that, Skip. But look, Frank Gifford had a Monday night gig for 27 years. Dan Dierdorf for 12 years. Dandy Don Meredith, 12 years. Do you actually think that Jason Witten is going to play, let's just say for the sake of argument, 3 more years? Jason, you get too old to play football. You don't get too old to talk. And I know, Skip, I know, and for me, I was in a very similar situation. I wanted to play 15 years, because once you get to 10, you start taking it one at a time. I finished 14. I felt good. I was training as if I was coming back to play 15 years. CBS called me. I went up there interviewed. I'm stuck on 14, Joy. I'm going to leave it at that, Skip. That's what I was stuck on 14. Now, I was in a different situation, Skip. I had 3 Super Bowls. But at that point, my thinking wasn't I had 3 Super Bowls. My thinking was, what could I do in year 15 that was going to change the perception of who they thought Shannon Sharpe was? What can Jason Witten do in year 16 that's going to change how you view Jason Witten? Either you like what he's done, you believe he was a great tight end, or you don't. Coming back for one more year and possibly, ain't no guarantee. Playing for the Patriots, I was like, hey, you got a real good chance. You got a 90% chance of going to the Super Bowl. But, man, you better take this job.
So this topic popped up in the middle of another topic yesterday, this issue of stay or go for Jason Witten. And I agreed with you on the fly, but I was looking at it from a TV perspective. These jobs just don't pop open every other day. You better take it while it's offered.
Yes.
That's where Tony Romo was a year ago. And he seized the opportunity and he ran with it.
And he might be there for 20 years.
He might be. So it's interesting to me that you played this man's position, or he plays your position. And so you can really relate to the fact that he does love playing football. So I look back at his remarks that night after they played their final regular season game, and he was very adamant about how he felt about coming back for several more years. And he said, oh, I'm back. I love playing this game too much, and I know that I can play it at a high level. The burn is strong inside me to play at a high level and to be part of this group of guys and to see it through. Okay, those words would not have come out of Shannon Sharpe's mouth at the very end, because you were getting close to being done with the process required to get to the football field on Sunday afternoon, right?
Yep.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
And I've been watching this All or Nothing docu-series on the Cowboys from last year that's on Amazon. I've actually sped through all, I think there's 6 of them. I can't remember, maybe I'm confusing with Tom versus Time, but I think there are 6 actually. But I watched the final one. And in the final team meeting that day after the last game, the day after, they presented Jason with a gold football. Jayson Garrett presented Jason Witten with a gold football, thanking him for 15 years. It's a long time to play at a high level, for being the leader of that team for 15 years. And he gave turned into a tearful speech to the whole team. And yet, not one time did he say, I'm done. He was going forward. Right. He just was appreciating the opportunity he had to be with this group of guys going into next year. So it wasn't a retirement ceremony.
Right.
It was a thank you for all that you've done. It's kind of what Tom Brady would like to have had happen after last year. I don't know. So my question back to you is, once you walk out the door on this, you can't get it back. You can't go to the booth for a year and then say, you know what, I think I'm going to go back, because the odds are you won't be able to get back to that level.
Yeah. And the odds are this booth job won't be available.
Okay, I agree with you, but this is hard on me because I'm looking at it from a TV perspective, but I'm trying to look at it through the eyes of a guy who loves playing football.
Yeah.
If you do, you should play it as long as you can, because at some point you definitely won't be able to play it anymore.
So what is your plan after you're done playing football?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, here's the other thing that was different between you two. Do you realize Jayson Garrett's missed one game in his whole career? One game? Back in his rookie year, he got his jaw broken, had to have 3 plates put in, and he missed one game with a broken jaw, but came right back and kept playing after surgery on his jaw. And since then, you want to talk about blessed? That's pretty blessed, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
That, whatever you want to call it, lucky or whatever.
I mean, to play those collisions that you're involved in, and to play the length of time that he's played, and to come up and to be out there and be available every single week.
Yeah. And as you know, he is a blocker.
Yeah.
He's almost like another tackle for them.
And he blocks more now than he did because, you know, he can't get down the field like he once could.
Yep.
But, Skip, for me, this is a no-brainer. Because this is such a think about how many guys have actually had this Monday night job, Skip. Not very many. And they normally keep it for an extended period of time.
Normally.
This is 10, you can have this job for 10, 15 years. Because he's what, 35, 36 years of age? So if you do this job for 15 years, you're still only 51.
Okay, what if he winds up not loving being in the Monday Night Football booth or whichever booth he chooses? What if he what if he just loves football so much that it just tears his guts out that he's not down there playing on the game he's commenting on?
Well, Skip, I think look, for me, if he's playing for a championship, if he wins a championship, that's not going to change my perception of how I view Jayson Wynn.
You know what? I don't even get that from him. Watching this docuseries, I'm not sure it's about winning a championship. I think he just loves getting up. They have the camera in his car at 5:30, and he's backing out of his driveway, and he is eating it up, man. He can't wait to get to the practice field.
And I was ready to come back for 15. I had set I said 15. This is going to be it, Skip. I'm done. I'm out. I want to make sure I'm in the best shape of my life. And I was where I wanted to be. I was like a couple of pounds under where I normally weigh at the time of that time of the year. So I'm like, I'm primed. I'm ready. And you
told me you were tired of the meetings.
The meetings, I was done.
Okay.
I was done with the meeting. And I think that Mike would have been willing to make some concessions, especially in training camp. Now, obviously, once the season starts, you know, I would not. I mean, maybe my individual meeting, I'd have skipped out on a few of those, but the team meeting, I would have been there. But Skip, this for me, and if it's being reported, the money that's involved, man, please.
Everything doesn't make everybody happy.
Nope.
When we talk about Monday Night Football, it's very easy for us to be like, hello, Monday Night Football, you're not going to get that opportunity again. They're going to put someone else in there. They're likely going to be there for a long time. But he's made over $72 million in his career. And who knows, maybe he wants to stay.
He made how much?
Over $72 million.
And by the way, he is beloved in Cowboy Nation, so he will have a second career doing whatever he wants.
And that's the thing.
Maybe he wants to spend time with his family. Maybe he doesn't want to work, you know?
I mean, it's only 20 weeks out of the year. He ain't got to run no more. I mean, he ain't got to worry about me.
But you can't replace the competition that you have in football. There's nothing else.
If he stays in there, he's going to have to race me. Then what happens, Joy?
Then you tear your hamstring off the bone.
I mean, I don't want to race.
You're going to be hobbling in here. We're going to have to pick you up and put you in the chair.
I ain't going to have
very embarrassing.
I ain't going to have to exert that much to beat him. I don't want to. What's the drama? What's the suspense in me outrunning another retired guy? That's why I won't race ED. It ain't no fun in beating ED. He retired. I want to race somebody that's current.
You? I don't even understand it.
Jayson Witten, you go back and play, you have to race me.
Do what makes you happy.
No mercy.
Hey everyone, Joy Taylor here, and before the show moves along, I want to tell you about an exciting new show. It's called the Fox Sports Daily Brief, available only on Facebook Watch. We all know everyone is busy, but the Fox Sports Daily Brief takes the biggest stories in the world of sports and delivers them to you in one video on Facebook. It's all you need to know about sports from the biggest stars at Fox Sports. So log on to Facebook and search Fox Sports Daily Brief and look for new episodes weekdays. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
Baker Mayfield was drafted #1 overall by the Browns, but apparently he was almost a Patriot. Baker's agent, Jack Mills, dropped a bombshell that there was a real chance New England would have traded up to the #2 pick and taken Baker. Mills said the Patriots told him, quote, "You may get a big surprise on draft day at #2 if he's available." Skip, what's your reaction?
Stop the presses, hold the phone. I take it all back because I gave Belichick a pass and his props. I gave him props for staying home at 23-31 in the first round and giving Tom Brady some help and not using that draft ammo because he also had 2 twos to go up and get one of the top quarterbacks. Hold the phone because he wanted, like a lot of teams, Baker Mayfield, and the only place he could get him was at 2. So you might say the Cleveland Browns saved Tom Brady because if Belichick goes and gets Baker Mayfield, we're right back to square one.
Tom Brady quits.
Well, he's not. It's going to be close because he would clearly then be back on the fast track out the back door at the end of next year, right?
Absolutely.
And he would be on the fast track back to a team in which he would have been given no new help from the draft.
Correct.
There would be no Isaiah Wynn, a new offensive lineman. There would be no Sony Michel, who could be, I don't know, the offensive rookie of the year next year. He's got a chance.
Right.
So those would be non-existent because it would be Baker Mayfield, and you want to talk about somebody who'd come in gunning for the job. He would pull no punches. He'd say, I respect Tom Brady, but he would want that job. He would be campaigning, get me on the field. Even though this is the greatest quarterback ever, Baker Mayfield he's pretty full of himself.
You know,
so
Skip,
here it would come.
Skip, I was going to go into this talking about, okay, Mary Kay Cabot, I have the utmost respect for her, and she's like 6 or 12 teams, but she doesn't name any. Do these teams need quarterbacks?
Saying that 6 of 12 that she surveyed, they wanted Baker Mayfield.
Right. I'm like, and I was going to say, are the Patriots or are the Packers or the Saints or the Steelers, are these, did she talk to? But now I don't even care. This is all I want to talk about the Patriots. The Coach Belichick's like, if I could move up, I'm going to package all the Skip. It's basically, I'm selling all my possessions.
He would. And I think it would take both those ones and maybe both the twos
to
go up to 2.
To go from 23, absolutely.
Because they were later first, 23 and 31.
Right. Because moved up 10 spots, 17 spots, Kansas City. Moved up 17 spots from 20.
Mahomes.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're going to have to package both of those to move up because they ended up giving up this year's first-round pick. Ooh, Skip, out. Tom Brady, Jim, come do another interview because I didn't know this. I didn't know this at the time because had I known this at the time.
This will be a bombshell for Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, I'd have went epic rant on him. I wish. Skip, I wish I could be a fly on the wall in Brookline. You know where Tom Brady lived at that coach club? I wish I could be on the fly on the wall where he talking to Giselle. No good.
He's throwing some avocados.
He probably said, that no good, dirty. Oh, I can't believe Coach Belichick.
And all shucks, gee whiz, good guy Tom Brady. We saw in Tom versus Time, he can curse a little bit.
He like, enough of that, I'm taking the gloves off. Coach Belichick, you low down dirty, you know what. I can't believe you after all these years. 18 years I was loyal to you. 5 Super Bowls, 8 Super Bowl appearances. And this is the gratitude, you know what? Let me tell you what. I've been knowing all along. He been cheating, y'all. Let me tell you how he did Spygate. I'm telling everything, Skip, baby. Skip.
So back to Mary Kay Cabot's survey that a bunch of these top teams wanted Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I'm not surprised because I kept telling you I'm just going on the eye test.
Right.
Baker Mayfield to me was way better on the football field than all these other top quarterbacks in performance, but I can't defend the red flags.
Does that say more about Baker, or does that say less about the talent that he's up against at the quarterback position? Because remember now, he's the only true senior. Everybody else are redshirt sophomores or redshirt juniors.
You could make
so
that
is that
case.
more about him or less about them?
Or is it a case of every year, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay at ESPN, they set the tone for who we all think are supposed to be at the top of the draft. And I think Mel had Josh Allen the whole way at number 1. Overall, just rank. Not mock draft, but just rank, right? So the point is, they set the tone, but it isn't always the truth of how the rest of the teams see this.
Right.
And I think the more they looked at the tape, listen, Baker Mayfield, he's deadly accurate thrower of the football with enough arm. He's got an above average arm.
Yeah.
So it's not, his arm's probably it might be even a little stronger than Tom Brady's. Now that we've seen with Tom Brady and Joe Montana, you don't have to have a rifle to do this. You have to just throw it accurately and on time.
But I would think, Skip, that Todd and Mel would actually talk. They would talk at some point. They start talking to NFL personnel to get a clear picture of who's going to go what, when, and where. And they stood very firm that I think Mel was Josh Allen, and I think Todd McShay was Sam Darnold. So I think they were very clear on what direction they thought one of these two guys would be number one. Everybody that I saw, Skip, had Baker Mayfield at best at I think I saw one time he was third, but everybody basically had him in that fourth slot.
Well, before last football season, he was like a third or fourth round pick, and then he goes all the way, vaults to number one overall. Because these coaches, the old school coaches, look at the crotch grab or the trash talk. They love that. That's competing. That's fire and brimstone on the football field. That's what they love. They think that's all part of a gamer, a baller, a guy that will lead your whole franchise, right? So that's what they saw, but it took them absorbing the tape of it. I'm just telling you, he was extraordinary as a performer. Not for 1 year, for 3 years.
I got a funny feeling we're going to do another Tom Brady topic tomorrow.
Well,
yeah, because he feeling some type
I'd
of
like
way.
to hear some kind of reaction about this.
What you think my reaction is? I can't believe Coach Belichick. I already only liked him a little bit.
I still can't believe that Tom was speaking at this convention yesterday. It was in Santa Monica. It's like, what, 3-4 miles from here? We could have driven there. I didn't even know he was speaking. I would have gone.
I wasn't driving in that traffic. Did you see that trucker spill, the tanker spill on 405?
Yeah, we have to go under the 405 and back to get there.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have stayed on Wilshire.
Who are you kidding? You don't leave your neighborhood.
Well, I was out and about this weekend.
No, you were
I
not.
was out.
Yeah.
Hey, whoever stole my weight bag, bring it back and put it back where you got it from.
Weight bag?
Yeah, somebody went in my truck and stole my inhaler, my nebulizer, my weight gloves.
What?
Yeah, they stole it.
Where?
In Manhattan Beach.
You were at the beach?
I was getting something to eat.
Oh, one of those.
Now, so there you go, Skip. Man, y'all need to stop with that.
That sounds romantic to me.
Y'all see, you always on. Y'all keep some bull jive. See, there you go. There you go, right there, Skip. So you can't whip. Now you get on me.
Yeah.
You try to start some foolishness. Ain't nothing popping out. But I want that guy, whoever stole my bag, to bring it back.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna get that back.
I'll take LeBron in 6.5 right now.
Nope.
Come on, let me have it.
Nope.
No mercy.
The Celtics were without Jaylen Brown last night, but they still blew out the Sixers in Game 1. Terry Rozier led the way with 29 points, and Jayson Tatum added 28. Game 2 is Thursday in Boston. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Stephen Jackson. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How much trouble is Philly in?
No trouble at all. It's too early. It's too early. They still have the two best players in the series with Embiid and Simmons. I just think Brad Stevens does a great job of getting these guys up for every game. I think their preparation and understanding the sense of urgency and how hard they have to play to win games without their stars, they get it. And they've been doing it in the playoffs so well without having a full team. They wanted the game more. I think they were more focused. Philly had a longer series, a little jet lag, but I think Brett Brown and those guys will make some adjustments for Game 2, and they'll come out, it'll be a better game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Celtics to shoot the ball as well as they did throughout the series like they did last night. They're not going to be 17 or 35 from the three-point lines. That's not who they are. Aaron Baines hitting threes. Rozier III made 7 or 9 threes. That's not who they are. Now, will they defend you? Absolutely.
Yes.
But I agree with you. They have the two best players, and the Sixers are a three-point shooting team. But they have Ben Simmons when the threes are not falling. They can put him on the block. He can go get buckets. But I believe some of those threes, they're not going to be 5 or 26 every night, Skip. Some of those threes are going to fall. Then we're going to see when the game is nip and tuck, and you got, let's just say it's a 1 or 2 possession game, and somebody has to deal with Embiid down on the block. I know Aaron Baines is a big body, but there's nobody that can deal with him one-on-one on the block. Nobody.
Nope. Aaron Baines can push him and shove him and beat on him, and he went 31 and 13. And there were times it was just a joke.
And then you go in the third quarter, you look up, and he got 15 points, I think 13, 15 points in the third quarter. And they're still down by 20, though, Skip. But I agree.
I just hope both of you are right because I got the Sixers winning in 6 in this series, and I got the Sixers eliminating your man, the King of Akron, the Beast of the East, in the finals. And that would be a sight to see because that will be a spectacle of an Eastern Conference Finals. If it's 6 young Sixers versus older LeBron, it'll be something.
You see what you said? Look what you just said.
You said older.
Yeah, no. You said Sixers, older LeBron. You see what he did there, Jack? It's one. So Bron by himself.
He's got a lot of help. He's got a good basketball team.
He has help. They're just not helping him.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that.
You're not going to battle with not one of them guys.
No, I'm going to battle with JR. I'm going to battle with K-Love. Jeff Green.
You give me 11. You give me 11 points right now.
I give you 15.
Kevin Love is a 5-time All-Star, giving us 11, and he can give us 15, and he been out of the league for 2 years.
I believe he'd give you 15 and 8.
15 and 8.
Yeah,
we need you to play D on the Rosen.
That's what
Tristan
I'm good
gave
at.
you 15 and 10.
Yeah, that was an anomaly.
And a big old block.
And he had something. He got bigger problems when he got home. He had to play out his
You
mind.
just cannot help yourself.
Why?
You're obsessed with it.
No, but I'm saying, don't skip. That's what when you got to compartmentalize.
I know, but the arena's your sanctuary. You
Yes,
get
it is.
away.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, because he know when he go home, lumped up.
I getting lumped up. So I hope you're right because when I woke up this morning, I started watching the highlights of the game that I watched carefully last night. I started thinking, wait a second, am I underestimating this Boston team? Because obviously it lost an all-star in Kyrie and it lost an all-star in Gordon Hayward and another potential all-star, Jaylen Brown, is sitting over there with a hamstring. And they are just laying it on this team.
They play hard every possession, every game.
And they play smart and they play tough. And little Rozier at 6 feet 1 inches tall, the 16th overall pick 2 drafts ago. I got to tell you, I'm watching him, and I watched him all through the Milwaukee series, and I'm starting to say, is he for real? I mean, for real. Like he's a player.
Yeah.
Because he is a fearless shooter. He just goes up with conviction every time, where every time he shoots it, I think it's going in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And the Sixers were having a matchup problem because they wound up with their point guard on him, and their point guard 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that's
and
not
Ben
good.
Simmons was having a little bit of a hard time staying with him.
Yeah.
And I said that for this series for Ben, last series he was able to switch and relax. He can't switch and relax in this series because when you switch, you on Horford or you on Baines, who's been aggressive on the glass. Then if you go a smaller pick and roll, then you on Jayson Tatum. So he has to guard a lot this series. So they got to make a lot of adjustments on defense because that was a big problem yesterday.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And doesn't Jayson Tatum look like a star? I'm just seeing a young, rising star, right?
He's growing up in front of you.
Right before your very eyes?
He's looking good, and you got to give a lot of credit to the coach because to give these young kids the confidence they have to play like they playing in the playoffs in their first year in the league, that says a lot for that coach because a lot of times kids are not too confident in these situations. Look at Philly. They're a great three-point shooting team, but in the playoffs it's harder.
Right.
The shots are hard, and they can't make them on the road.
And I'm starting to wonder, because they had these avalanche halves they'd throw down on people where they'd go 80 points. Remember, they put 78 on LeBron that Friday night at the end of the year? Well, they're just bombing threes. Bellinelli and Ilyasova come in and just they're like without conscience. They're just firing from everywhere. All of a sudden, you have a night where you're up against the #1 team against the 3. Defending the 3 is Boston. And you shoot 19%. Maybe that's no coincidence.
Not at home.
And the thing is, the Sixers are a very good defensive team, Skip. They give up 3/4 to 30 points or more. You're not winning like that. You give in the playoffs, you give up 3/4 to 30 points or more. Oh, you losing that game, and you allow them to shoot 48% from the field, 49% from the 3-point line. How you gonna beat them? But I tell you what, Skip, they're all these. Danny Ainge said, "Go ahead, keep balling, Rozier, cause he ain't gonna be happy to be sitting like Kyrie wanted to do his own thing." What you think, Rozier gonna want to go back to the bench? After the way he played in the playoffs? Somebody gonna want him to run their squad.
Unless you play them together in stretches. I don't know. You could.
Everybody can't play. Because what you gonna do with Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart. Everybody can't play. Kyrie.
I think you're describing an Eastern Conference championship team. I think you are.
Whoa.
When they're whole and healthy. I think you just described it.
Whoa.
Huh?
First of all, Kyrie isn't there. Gordon Hayward isn't there.
You're
I'm
lucky.
just talking about in the future.
Yeah.
We're talking about, I'm just saying how things look like it's going to unfold. But as long as that old big guy in the Midwest, boy, he blow hard down.
Does he?
Freeze up everything.
Mr. Jackson, do you realize he picked the Raptors to win Game 1 against LeBron James?
Yeah, Game 1.
He did.
Wow.
Sold them out.
Did you say that publicly?
Jumped right off the bandwagon.
No, I ain't jump. No.
You did.
This ain't no bandwagon. What me and Bron do, this ain't no bandwagon. I've been down from jump.
Yeah, well, you just jumped off.
So you down with Braun and not the Cavs?
Yeah, I'm down with the Cavs too, but I don't think they're gonna, because they just had a long fall series, and I don't. Hey, they could prove me wrong because the Celtics had a hard fought series, and they came. But the difference is the Celtics are at home and the Cavs are on the road. So, but look. They still the baby dinosaurs. We got them.
But you don't got them tonight. Well, I just hope the Sixers got these guys, because Game 2 looms as not do or die, not must win, but you better win Game 2, or you're going to be in some trouble.
No.
They got to slow the game down, though. Yeah. They got to slow that game down and make it a half-court game. Yeah,
because those bigs can't keep up. Joel Embiid, look, as great as he is, Skip, he's not getting up and down. Ilyasova is not getting up and down. So that's not what they do. Yeah, they make threes, but you better play to your strength. Let Embiid have 40 and 20. Let Simmons have 20 and 10. You try to get up and down with them threes, and you miss a few.
How about let Jaylen Brown come back and play in Game 2? Now what?
That'll be a problem.
Hey, don't worry about it. He said, Joel Embiid said, we all play like poop, but we'll be better on Thursday. Let's see, Skip.
Don't be surprised if your boy Brett Brown got on the phone with Greg Popovich and like, tell me what you see, Pop.
Probably did.
Probably did.
Yeah.
You see, Bron ain't got nobody he called like that. Bron just go back in that lab himself. He said, oh, that's what y'all want to do. Oh, y'all want to stay home. So I just punished Boogie. I just punished Lance Stevens.
So did you just admit that LeBron James is the head coach of the Cavaliers?
No, I'm just saying.
I think you just said that.
Hold on. He said Brett Brown would call Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich doesn't coach the Sixers.
LeBron went back in the lab. You didn't say Ty Lue goes back in the lab. LeBron does.
I need a quarterback on
the court. It was clear after the game the other day, LeBron dictated the starting lineup.
When the Patriots are on the field and they have the ball, who's the coach?
When the Patriots
have the ball.
I never said Tom Brady was the head coach.
He is.
If he was, Bill Belichick would be gone.
No. But LeBron in that lab, he got that Abraham just cooking that thing up. Yeah, y'all staying home in the
look, you could listen to LeBron after the game the other day. It was clear he dictated that starting lineup. He said, we went with the players who had been
That's what you got to do.
So he told Ty, here's who we're going to start today.
You.
Been there, done that.
That's how you go into the finals the first time.
Yeah.
Took 4 guys. Hey, guy valeted, come on, you can play. Guy brought his grocery, you can play. Pizza guy, come on. Went to the finals, them against. Were you on that team, Stack?
Oh, no.
No, not yet.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what he did.
He's a young man.
Yeah. No. That was way before. Oh, no. He was before this. He was before
Way before this.
Talk about no. See, I just see what you're trying to do. You trying to say LeBron and Stacks the same age. You try to do it on the sneak tip. You think you're slick.
Yeah. LeBron, born in 1974. We
84.
know it.
84. December 30th. There are a lot of people born on that date, Skip. Old Tiger.
Yeah.
Old Tiger.
No, it's a good day.
That's a good day.
Good day for.
Old Tiger got padded feet. You can't hear him creeping.
I don't know if that tiger has padded feet.
Oh yeah. But they didn't hear him creeping until it was too late.
Isn't Steph Curry and LeBron birthday on the same one? They was born in the same hospital. Same hospital. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same hospital. Same.
Yeah.
Who's born on your birthday?
I think Jeter.
Yeah.
I think Derek Jeter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. I thought you were going to say Jesus.
Yeah.
Everybody did. He might have been for all I know.
No.
Hey, the calendar, they didn't have dates back in that time, Skip. So it could have happened.
Could have happened.
As far as I know.
We got to leave it there. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
We are God.
No mercy.
The Raptors are a 6.5-point favorite in Game 1 tonight against the Cavs. LeBron is coming off a huge 45-point performance against the Pacers in Game 7 on Sunday. But after the game, he said he was, quote, burnt and tired. Cleveland has won 6 straight playoff games against Toronto. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Jim Jackson.
What was that for, Skip?
Interesting. Can't wait to hear what your take is on this, because I know my partner's take on this.
Who wins Game 1?
Well, Shannon realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, he's being realistic.
Very.
Yeah.
Partially realistic.
I think he's a little scared. He's being scary right now. Who wins Game 1 and the series, Jim?
This is a different anomaly here for the Cavs. I think coming off a tough Game 7, which in the first round there, a LeBron James team is not accustomed to. I just think there's going to be too much energy in the building and a quick turnaround for the Cavs coming in for that reason. I think, too, also the mental fatigue of going through that Game 7 against Indiana. Not only just the team, but I think LeBron. I think this is one of those games where LeBron comes out and he's trying to get people involved early, you know, knowing that they have Game 2, but trying to get guys involved because this is a different kind of climate. And I think they're still trying to figure out the Cavs what's the best lineup. This is a different core group they're going to have to go with against this Toronto team compared to Indiana. I don't know if they can start the same starting 5 just because of Kyle Lowry.
Right.
It's a lot different than Collison. You may have to bring in George Hill or Calderon just to be able to match up with Kyle Lowry because he's looking to score a lot more than Collison. But I give Toronto the edge in this first game because the energy, they're at home, the mental fatigue of Cleveland in that last game against Indiana. What?
So now you feel better about
I mean, he's just echoing some of the things that I've said. But think about this. How many times Skip, in a Game 7, a team will start an entirely different lineup? A lineup they hadn't basically played all year long. And that's what Ty Lue did in a Game 7 because you know why? He had that old big joker. You ever play spades? You know when you got that big joker? See, Skip.
I don't want to hear about the big joker because you
That's
have
him.
already picked the Raptors to win Game 1. So stick with it.
One game.
Yeah.
I said one game.
The big joker is going to lose, says Shannon Sharpe or Le Shannon Sharpe.
Skip, if I got the big joker and you got a bunch of spades, you might win that hand. But
who gets the 150?
That's what I'm saying. That's the first one. It's the first one to 4. Now, even though Indiana got the one first, and it was closer to 4, you and I both know deep down, I mean, you knew they weren't going to win. Had you out there on that brand.
I thought it was going to go 7, and it did. Yeah. And it got a little tight.
You know what? I needed to go 7 because I needed to enhance LeBron's legacy. The Game 7, who scores the most points in Game 7, Skip? Who scores the most points in elimination game, Skip? So that's what I needed to happen. You don't know I walked into that corner. They're going to lose Game 1, but they'll be just fine on Thursday night.
I say they will win Game 1, and I will offer Mr. Jackson the same bet that I offered to Mr. Sharpe that he rejected.
Okay, which is?
I will take Cleveland plus the point spread. I'll take
What is
6.5. I'll take the Cavs plus 6.5 tonight
Don't bet
at
him.
Toronto in Game 1.
He janky.
Come on.
He janky. He's trying to jinx
I don't usually do number. I just do straight up.
Straight up?
Yeah, I do straight up.
I got 6.5. That's what the point spread is.
No, get the point. I'll go straight up with you.
No, I'll take 6.5 because
I'll
the
take it
odds
straight
makers
up.
say 6.5.
Well, forget the odds makers.
I'm offering both of you.
No.
Like you tell
Straight
me,
up.
well, who cares what the odds makers? I want to know what you think.
Yeah. We can
take
just go
6.5.
straight up on the first
I
game.
got Cleveland.
Okay, I got Toronto.
Okay, will you bet me?
No, you're not going to bet against LeBron.
Huh?
Why you want me to bet? Because I don't.
So you picked against him, but you won't bet against him.
No.
Why not?
No,
What's the difference?
No, because it's bad luck. It's sacrilegious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you don't wear shorts to church.
I don't know.
Depending
Out
on
here
what church
in
you
Los
go.
Angeles.
It depends on what church and where you live, Shannon.
Wait a second. The church I go to in Westwood, they wear shorts. I don't know.
Well, look, rest her soul, my grandma rolled over. If you were, you know back down south, you better come dressed as nice.
You know, to answer your question, though, overall, though, this is a different Cavs team.
Yes.
As we know, going against the Raptors. You don't have that second player. But what I just kind of just went back and looked at a couple of numbers just historically, going back a year. What Cleveland has been able to do defensively against Toronto, in particular J.R. Smith guarding DeRozan, I think has been impactful. You go back to earlier this year, during the course of the year, DeRozan has averaged 23 points. But against the three games.
But Cleveland won 2 out of 3.
Yeah, but his numbers have dipped down to 17. Last year in the playoffs, he averaged 27. During the course of the regular season, only 20 in the playoffs. They figure out a way to take out one of those guys, okay? Because that's what you need. Now, Toronto is built a little bit differently. Yeah. But I think because LeBron puts so much pressure that guys have to perform, those two have to be on point, on target the whole series in order to beat Cleveland for 7 games. Their ancillary players, yes, the bench is outperforming Cleveland's in the playoffs. Yes, I get it.
So far.
So far.
Watch what happens now.
But I say this. One, those two have to step up. But I think for Cleveland, it's George Hill for me. I think George Hill can provide this Cleveland team with a different push. He's been successful playing against Toronto in the past, especially this year, averaging about 19 in the 2 games that he's played. Now, one was with Sacramento. But he can give you defensively, he's long, he's athletic, but also the ability for him to force Lowry to have to guard him, to maybe pick up a foul or two, to be able to finish at the rim like we saw in that third quarter and fourth quarter against Indiana. I think the key with Cleveland, too, is can George Hill bring that for 7 games?
I'm going to remind you, I'm not the biggest George Hill fan, but he's played in a whole bunch of big games for the San Antonio Spurs. So he's been here. He hasn't been here with the big joker, and it's a different feel and a different stage, but did he not come to play on Sunday?
He did. And they needed every bit of his 8-9 points that he gave them. But here's the thing that really no one talks about. Everybody talks about LeBron James and how do you guard him, because what LeBron also does, he forces your stars to elevate their play.
And what happens to those 2 Toronto stars? They shrink at the sight of the beast of the East. They do, every time.
Because when LeBron, if Kevin Durant doesn't play out of his mind like he played last year, they're not beating the Cavs. He had to go, because LeBron was 32 triple-double, he had to go 35 and 8 along with Steph Curry's 29, 9 and 8. So LeBron is going to force Lowry and DeRozan. You got to match him. You worry about stopping him.
Have they ever? Did they last year? They got swept.
This is a different team.
I like this team. It's deep.
No, you don't.
It's deeper.
No, you don't.
It's much deeper.
The other Raptors are much deeper. They go 9-10 deep. Dwayne Casey has no problem playing those guys 20 minutes.
But how effective can they be? I mean, you go deep. I get it. This is a different team. But depth only helps you if it works. And again, I say this about this Cleveland team is that they figure out ways to take some things out. And really, to be honest with you, it's not a big drop-off in regards to Kyle Lowry's numbers versus the Cavs. His shooting percentage is tweaked, but the bigger drop-off is with DeRozan. That's where you see, that's where that number is at. And you just, and that's a point you make, because people don't understand that when you play against LeBron, that superstar on that other team has to be special.
You got to match him.
And that's for 7 games. We're not talking about 2.
Oladipo matched him 3 times, and he failed to match him 4 times. Right?
In the football, Skip, is like, well, the quarterback doesn't play. But if Nick Foles doesn't match somewhat Tom Brady's numbers, they're not winning. So you actually have to match the other guy with, you don't defense him, you can't sack him, you can't intercept him, but you better match his level of play. Well, when LeBron James, you play LeBron James, your superstar, he better match his level of play.
The blueprint is about to change, because Toronto will send multiple bodies at LeBron in ways that Indiana never did. Indiana said, we'll single cover you with Bogdanovich, and you can shoot layups all you want to, because we're going to stay with all your shooters, and we're going to make you just flat out. If you score 50, that's fine, but we're not going to let these other guys beat us. And finally, Kevin Love did beat them in that stretch without LeBron in Game 7. So tonight, all the shooters are going to get shots they weren't getting against Indiana. Watch.
They got some shots, but what about the ones they was missing? That's what I'm counting. I ain't counting.
But here's the thing, though. If they do that, Skip, this is where it's important, too. Tristan Thompson, his activity. If they're going to send 2 at LeBron, that means you're going to have a mismatch on the backside. And if you're going to have that activity of Tristan Thompson, he's going to give Cleveland extra possessions because he's going to keep the ball alive. So it's pick and choose your poison. To me, I don't want to give life, especially in Game 1, to the Cleveland Cavs ancillary players. I just don't. On the road, I don't want them to see the ball to go in. If LeBron is going to beat me, he's going to beat me. He's going to beat me straight up. But I don't want to give George Hill shots. I don't want to give Korver shots. I don't want to give Smith shots. And I darn sure don't want to see Tristan Thompson feeling good about himself
getting extra possession. He knows a lot about extra.
You can't. You can't.
What I do, Joe, I didn't do nothing.
See, you're talking about the gum, right?
Yeah, I'm saying he gonna, Skip with like the rotate.
You're more fascinated by that than the sports. You ought to get into another line of work.
No, the thing is, look, Skip trying to be slick. I know what he's trying to do.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just telling you what I see.
No, you trying to bait me to give you a bet.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
I'll take 6.5 right
Skip,
now.
you know good and well Tristan Thompson's game was an anomaly in Game 7. 15 and 10, he's a 6
I gave him a chance, and he seized it. Did he not?
Okay, what happened early in the season?
He was having some issues. He was distracted.
Oh, you can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Oh, so now you work for Page 6, huh?
No, now you work for TMZ. You should be in those TMZ sessions.
No, you the one that talk about he was distracted.
Well,
what was he distracted from, Skip? I don't know.
You asked me a question, I answered it.
Okay,
I did not volunteer it.
What was he distracted from?
We'll leave it there, Jim. Thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.